Difficile iniziare dopo tutte queste presentazioni.
It's hard to speak after all the previous presentations dealing with tangible projects. I'd like to go back to something that lies behind. There is deep sustainability, almost genealogical sustainability, which is at the root of every sustainability: social, economic, environmental, energy sustainability. It has to do with the very way our mind works. Our mind is made of quotations, pauses, of empty spaces and full spaces, emotions, brain thinking, and there is sustainability of thoughts, feelings and passions that somehow comes before any other meaning. Moleskine as a logo is devoted to offering blank spaces, spaces for meditation, open platforms, and therefore places where the mind can rest and where thoughts can take shape. We all need, especially at these times of pauses, we all need this, and we also need light entertainment. What do I mean by light entertainment? In this case, it means to try and revisit what was a paradigm of past design and of other areas. It means to try and embody the less is more, which today becomes more with less. We have much more with less. So I was talking about deep sustainability and mind ecology. I think that we are all looking for experiences that have a meaning and that make sense, especially. Luisa already mentioned this dimension of senses. Sensibility puts together a dimension of senses and significance or meaning. The neurosciences highlight the deep connection between brain and emotions. So neurosciences are talking about the connection between meaning, thinking, and feeling. They're really deeply connected. So the synesthetic, the set of senses, is what really gives a deep meaning to our experiences. I was talking about blank spaces for ourselves, but also light entertainment. Now we are searching for more with less. It's probably technology that today makes this opportunity available, having more with less, and the possibility to have physical and psychic experiences with little waste, little weight, and little volume. So a blank page may become the place that welcomes the wealth of imagination. It may become the opportunity for a personal creative relationship with nature and with the surrounding landscape. Our urban transportations and movements offer us the opportunity to reflect and to think. And these spaces are very important now. These are the gaps where we can place those pauses and empty spaces where imagination takes shape. So a blank page can be filled with our own story. It becomes the place of a positive encounter with your imagination. but it also becomes the place where you recreate a relationship with nature, or where you find a new talent or passion. You find a place for a glimpse, a different glimpse on the surrounding landscape. You see some images that were downloaded from the network, from the web. These are images created on blank pages, and it's for me an opportunity to tell stories. This is an image of a short Japanese poem, or this image represents a deep sustainability of the spokes of a bicycle, or sustainable dynamics of the pedals. As a brand, we're lucky enough to work with objects that are designed and imagined to be with us for a long time. These objects come from an important tradition, so the topic of legacy is particularly dear to us and very close to our sensitivity. These objects come from far away, and they carry with them a long story and old tradition. Paper and books are the objects that preserve the historical memory of humanity. Blank pages are the places where the memory came to rest. Books are places where you organize your thoughts, where you design projects, where you display your creativity. It's the place where you sketch or you write works of art. These are objects, but they are designed to be preserved and not thrown away, because they tell our own story. These are intimate, identity-related objects. And so they pile up emotions that release their charge over time, so we hardly separate from them. There is something that separates our brand from all the rest. We are on a separate end of technology. Technology is the trigger of innovation. That's the merit, but also the drawback of technology. Technology becomes obsolete in a planned way. Our work is placed on the opposite end, at the end of continuity. For instance, the issue of storage systems is very much on the forefront. Maurizio Ferrari, a philosopher and thinker, devotes important considerations to the issue of memory and recording of memory. So their impact is really significant. Here in front of us in the exhibition by young Russian designers and artists, there is a piece of work that is really striking. There's a set of archives and files that are open or broken down, whatever the intention of the artist was. Those paper archives have been with us for centuries, whereas digital archives pose major problems to them. They're inexpensive in the beginning, but they become very expensive in terms of maintenance. Unlike the Tower by Rosetta, or manuscripts that can last for a very long period of time. As I said before, light entertainment. Light entertainment is something related to light luggage. Light luggage is one of the great opportunities offered by our technology, and we touch upon some of its drawbacks. Light luggage means thinking about the objects that we carry with us. Today, we are facilitated by cloud computing that allows us to have our own digital cloud of content and documents or whatever we need, references, networks that are always with us. And so we can bring with us a small physical or analogical cloud of objects that can dialogue with the digital world and can represent ourselves and be our own identity luggage that represents ourselves. It is not by chance that this cluster of objects is so popular. This is a picture of your senior bag. What's inside your bag? What's inside your bag is the analog cloud that we carry with us and represents our identity. Now, it may be interesting to touch upon the nomadic object. This topic of a nomadic object or gypsy object, it originated 30 years ago. It was launched by Jacques Attali. When studying the ways gypsies or nomadic peoples moved around, he identified a strongly identity-related and emotional connotation. Today, in our life of contemporary nomads, we can say that what used to be the talisman or the fire or the weapon or the music instrument that we carried in our luggage, in the luggage of a nomadic person in ancient times, today takes up new shapes. But these shapes may have the same emotional connotation. We all attribute a strength and an emotional charge to the object that we carry with us every day that goes far beyond that they're being functional objects. So design finds a new meaning and a new importance in its ability to reinterpret a function, but to connect it strongly to emotions, thoughts, and meanings, and therefore senses, like the senses we were talking about and whose origin we were trying to find. Our work also involves a concept of production that tries to fulfill the paradigm of sustainability that was presented by a previous speaker. In this respect, there are some elements that we consider as given, like hygiene at the beginning of the 19th century. Today, talking about sustainability is a granted fact. Talking about a manufacturing process that is focusing on light packaging is obvious. But for us, this is the center of our focus and of our ongoing research. So packaging must be reusable, or we may find new functions so as to start up a new cycle of thinking and meaning, adding depth to our experiences. So boxes may become containers of many other objects, bands that become bookmarks or notes that we use on a daily basis, notebooks that become envelopes that you can use for shipping your mail. And basically, our objects travel around the world in a naked form. Since we work with paper, but not only paper, we are partly responsible, like all manufacturers and consumers, we are partly responsible of using up environmental resources. So working with paper, with wood, with materials that are as natural as possible allows us to have most of our production based on resources with a renewable life cycle, with a story that can come back over and over again. So we do not destroy it forever, as is the case with mineral resources, which are so precious because they cannot be recreated easily. It would take millions and millions of years to recreate them, whereas we use regenerated resources. Now, going back to what is very dear to us as a brand, and I think is really the key factor, at least for me, in participating in Be Open, and I'm thinking of a new, very ambitious project. And the key idea is sharing. Sharing is a paradigm of our way of acting. Acting in terms of design, manufacturing, and distribution of our projects, but it's also a key factor of all the activity that we do online. The activity that Moleskine as a logo does, as a brand does, but especially the activity carried out by the people who love us. We have an ongoing dialogue with our supporters, and we try to establish a relationship whereby the contents are shared as much as possible. The idea is to give space for visibility, space for sharing, a space that becomes a springboard for other projects, but also the idea is that of offering repertoires, elements that can be downloaded from our website and are made available by the Moleskine community. These are images that have become the cover pages of books that were showed before. So you see a host of projects that originated from a blank page. They originated within the brand, but then stepped out of it. And these projects are the deep sources of our work, and they generate new stimuli for us to continue with our dialogue with our public. If you want, you can visit these projects, urban sketches. These are all creative projects that follow their own path on the web. They show you how much the dimension of sharing is relevant today. You can participate and create Creative Commons and add wealth to your work. This is the result, the opportunities that are offered by the digital world. And I hope that Be Open will follow up also to this initiative, because it's really rich in hints and opportunities.